It's not a regular lesson. Okay. So number one, what are heat islands? Okay, number one, heat islands. And then number two, what is altitude and how does it change climate? And then number three, difference between inland versus coastal climates. All right. Well, for number one, it's not actually an island. Okay. We're talking about cities. Okay. So cities, there's your answer for number one, guys, on page 8. Cities are always going to be hotter than rural areas, countryside, or suburbs because they have more concrete, they have more metal, more buildings, more cars. All that stuff is going to radiate heat, right? On a hot summer day, you've got your feet on the grass versus on the sidewalk. It's always going to hurt. It's always going to be hotter or burn on the sidewalk because what does that concrete do? It radiates the heat. What does the grass and the vegetation do? It absorbs the heat. It makes it feel nice and cooler. Okay. So number two, let me see number two here. Do I have Sanaya here now? Hold on. Oh, I got Sanaya here now. Okay. Number two, one second, let me find my slide here. All right, so number two, altitude. Altitude is the height above sea level, okay? And typically when you climb up a mountain, it's gonna get what? Warmer or cooler? Cooler, right? Because there's lower air pressure. So we'll just say for number two, altitude is the height above sea level. And the higher the altitude, the cooler the temperatures, right? That's altitude, okay? So altitude, height above sea level, the higher up you go, the cooler it gets. Like that's why you look on the top of a mountain, there's usually snow, right? Usually snow. Again, hope you guys are hearing me okay. And then number three, we're going to compare land cities, inland versus coastal cities. So one's going to be more extreme temperatures. The other one's going to be more moderate temperatures, more moderate. Oh, let's see here. Sanai, it's going to be page 8 on page 8. And I'll go back to the questions in a moment. Page 8, Sanaya. So for number 3, Angel, what do you think? What heats up faster, solids or liquids? Solids. Solids are going to change temperature faster, right, guys? That's why a desert is super hot in the day, but at night, what's a desert supposed to be like? Really cold at night, right? So the inland area is going to be more extreme. The coastal area is going to be more moderate because it takes longer for water to change temperature compared to rock. Okay, it takes longer for water to change temperature. Okay. So inland's going to be more extreme, highs and lows. Coastal is going to be more moderate temperatures. Okay, so more. So Orlando has slightly hotter days and slightly colder nights. Tampa has slightly cooler days and slightly warmer nights. Okay, when my in-person students are ready, we'll move on to our table. All we've got left is a table of contents, video questions with a card question, and then we'll do our little graphing activity, which for us, all I can do is give you directions and let you know to get started on it, right? And I'll show you the documents for that, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, let's move on to our table of contents. Add page 8, climatogram, just one page today, climatogram. And then be ready in the chat to answer our only practice question of the day. Be ready to answer our only practice question of today. Just one question. You're going to find your answer for this question on page 5. We're going to wait till our in-person students are ready. All right, let's go and see what we got here. All right, I'm going to be all about mountains again real quick. All right, which side of the mountain has cool and wet conditions with lots of trees and snow? So if you go to page 5, you'll see it there. Again, going to be cool and wet. It's the side that gets more moisture. Is it A, westward, B, eastward, C, leeward, or D, windward? Which side's it going to be? Which side's it going to be? A, B, C, or D? Please answer in the chat for participation. All right. Thank you, Sinai, for answering. Great job, Angel. Lakia, thank you. Thank you, Lakia. Isaac, thank you, Isaac. Good participation, guys. I need more people, though. Need more people. I think Diego's. I think I need Zamir here. Yorkies, thank you. Melissa, I need. Evelyn. Oh, let's see, Evelyn. Thank you, Evelyn. Diego, Daniela, thank you. Okay, which side of the mountain is the cool and wet side that gets all the moisture? Thank you, Diego H. Okay, again, part of our participation for the end of the quarter. Let's go check it out, guys. The correct answer is going to be, guys, letter D, the windward side. Again, windward, cool and wet. The leeward is the opposite, warm and dry. Again, one side of the mountain is going to get all the water, all the clouds, and then it's going to drain it of all the water inside the cloud. It's going to make it dry on the other side. Let's move on to our next section, which is going to introduce our main activity for today, which are these two video questions. Please write these on page 8 or take a picture of them for page 8 below the Go Blue. This kind of introduces us to what we're going to do today, which is our graphing. Okay. So number one, we're basically going to be making climate graphs today, basically making climate graphs. Okay. Now, number one, what measurements are used for climate graphs? So when we make a climate graph, what exactly is it showing? What is it showing? And then number two, what type of graphs are being used for each measurement, right? What type of graph is being used? So go ahead and write those down, take a picture of them, write them down. We're gonna watch our only video of the day right now, right here. And when our in-person students are ready, we'll get into talking about it. Again, it's gonna be unlike a graph that you've seen before, right? Not a graph that you've seen in a math class. Pretty unique and new. Oh, and let me give shout outs for whoever got the right answer. Let's see. Shout outs to Lakia and Sanaya and Angel for getting the right answer on our only review question of the day. Okay, my in-person students are ready, so let's check it out. I'm just gonna play the first 2 minutes of this video. Really good stuff. It's gonna give you the answer though to number 1 and 2 in the first 30 seconds. Again, going to give the answer in the first 30 seconds. Let's go ahead and check it out. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another Wimbledon video on geography skills. Today we're going to look at climate graphs. What are they and how do we draw them? A climate graph combines two sets of data. What are they? Video on geography skills. Today we're going to look at climate graphs. What are they and how do we draw them? A climate graph combines two sets of data. First of all, average monthly rainfall and average monthly temperature. This is set out into one graph called a climate graph, which contains both a bar graph and a line graph. The biggest mistake that students make when they're trying to create a climate graph is forgetting which graph to use for which set of data.
Number 2.
I tell my students they only need to remember one thing. A bar graph looks like rainfall, so that's the graph to use. Then for temperature, just use the other graph. Now I've done some research and I've been unable to find a definitive answer as to whether the temperature or rainfall should be on the left or the right of the graph. So I'm going to take the easy way out and say check with your teacher which one they prefer. For my graph, I'll go rainfall or precipitation on the left and temperature on the right. Now this is not going to be a perfect looking graph. I've deliberately done it by hand to show you the whole process. To start, you need the data. Usually it'll look something like this.
So when you guys go onto Canvas, you're going to see your sheet here. Basically what you're going to kind of do, if you look at the back side of the lab sheet, let me go ahead and pull it up here. Hold on. I'll show it to you in a second. Hold on. So you're going to get a set of data, okay? And you're going to plot the set with the 2 rows of numbers on it. Okay, well, I'll explain more in a little bit.
With a table set out with all the months, and then average rainfall and average temperature on the side. I've just thrown in some numbers there. They don't actually correlate to the graph, it's just an example of what you'll see. Start with a big square U, or if you prefer, the top half of rugby league or rugby goalposts. Then split this up evenly with the 12 months at the bottom. Then with a ruler, set out even spaces for your rainfall and throw up the numbers on the left hand side. Remember to always include rainfall in milliliters so that the person reading the graph knows what each number signifies. Once you've done that, grab your ruler and put a dot in the middle of each month exactly where the average rainfall fell for that month. Then complete your bar graph. As I said guys, I'm not spending a whole bunch of time making this look pretty. Once you've completed this, it's always helpful to double check that you've got your measurements right with the average rainfall for that month. Once you've done this, on the other side of your graph, set out in equal parts the temperature going up the right hand side. Don't forget to write out temperature in Celsius so that people know what those numbers signify. Then, once again with your ruler, plot out for the middle of each month where the average temperature fell. Make sure the dot is right in the middle of each month and exactly equal to where it should be temperature-wise. Then plot it out as a line graph with the dots still being visible. This will help people to read it. And there is a finished climate graph. As you can see, we've got the rainfall as a bar graph down the bottom and the temperature average as a line graph at the top. Here's the same graph with the temperature and rainfall switch.
Guys, to sum it up, we're going to be making this through sets of data, right? So I was just hearing something in the hallway. So anyways, so let's go ahead. It's Friday, guys. We just need the weekend already. All right, so let's go ahead. What is going on? What are we doing? Let me go to Canvas and show you guys exactly your assignment. And I'm going to actually add more stuff here. So let's go. You go. Oh, and by the way, before we continue, my bad. Number one, Angel, did you see what two things were being measured?
Average monthly rainfall and average monthly temperature.
Exactly, guys. So we're making two graphs into one. One graph is going to represent the monthly temperature, and one graph is going to represent the precipitation, which is the rainfall, right? And then, Angel, did you see what type of graphs went with each one?
A bar graph and a line graph.
Yep. So the bar graph went with which one?
Rainfall.
Yep. So rainfall was the bar graph, and precipitation was the bar graphs, and the temperature was the line graph. So make sure to have that down. This is how you're going to make your graph. It's like a double graph, right? So let me go ahead while you guys write that down before we call it a day here in a few minutes. Let me pull up the assignment so you guys can see what it looks like. Right. Okay. And I'm going to post this online. But basically, okay, let's take a look here. Okay, so what's going to happen, guys, is I'm going to post this here in a little bit. I've already got all the directions for it. You guys are going to go to Canvas and you're going to see an assignment called Climatogram Lab, okay? And what you're going to do, you're going to see all these rows of numbers, right? All these rows of numbers on one of the documents, which is called Climate Student Data, okay? Click on that, and you're going to pick any one of these letters. It could be letter A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Either one, just pick one. Only pick one, right? Okay, now the directions specifically are all stated here. Okay, these are going to tell you exactly what you need to do. So basically, the letter you choose, it's a mystery as to which of these cities or countries it's going to be. So you've got to graph those numbers to figure out which city you think you have and to answer the questions below. Like, what are the factors that determine climate? We kind of know that already, right? Temperature and precipitation. Okay, so you're going to make a line graph from the top row of numbers. So The top row of numbers are going to be your line graph. The bottom row of numbers are going to be your bar graph. Now, one thing that's really tricky is how to set this up, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and what I need to do still, I'm going to take a picture of my setup graph and attach it to this assignment, okay? So you guys can see how to set it up. So what you need to do, I'm going to have graphing paper put on it. I'm going to have the graphing paper set up. And let me go ahead. Let's hit this for you for a second, Angel. Okay. Because if I just show this on the screen, I don't think that'll be good enough, right? So select your letter. Okay, let me go ahead and stop the share here so you guys can see me here. Okay. So you're going to basically get some graphing paper, okay? And again, what you got to do is on this graphing paper, you've got to have the bottom, leave some space, okay? You're going to, let me see if I can get this on the screen, okay? You're going to leave like 2 cubes of space on the right, or 3 cubes, 2 or 3 cubes of space on this side, and then leave a few cubes of space on the top. The top should say Climatogram, whatever letter you chose, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, any one of those letters, and then put your name on it. Then put your name on the other side. Okay, everyone clear on the title? All right. On the bottom, again, you're going to make a field goal post. Make a line with a field goal post. Okay, it's going to have a few cubes of space on each side, like 2 or 3, 2 or 3. Okay, but don't make it go all the way to the bottom or all the way to the side. You won't have enough room for your numbers. Okay. Now, on the when you're looking at the paper, this will be the left side that you're looking at. On the left side, after you've made your, let's do this first, the bottom. On the bottom of your field goal post, okay, you're going to write the months of the year. Like January, Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. On this particular sheet of paper, I skipped every 3 cubes. You see that? Every 3 cubes, I made a line, and then there was my month. Okay, you might need 2.5 if your paper has bigger cubes. If the cube sizes are different. This is just what we have in class. This is the bottom row. Again, leave some space. Make sure it doesn't go all the way. Make sure it doesn't go all the way. Okay. Then on the left side, when it faces you on the left side of the sheet, what you're going to do is you're going to label that temperature, degrees Fahrenheit, temperature, degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Make sure you say that that's the line graph. That's the line graph. Okay. You're going to plot that in numbers of 3. So every cube is going to be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Go up by 3s until you get all the way up to probably 84 or 87. Again, don't panic if you guys are watching thinking, what is going on? Again, this is going to be pre-recorded and posted for you guys to watch as many times and pause as many times as you'd like. So you'll be able to complete this step by step. Not only that, guys, like I said, I'm going to take a picture of this and you'll be able to copy it anyway. So I'm just doing it step by step just in case you need to know. Okay. And then on the other side, remember, don't forget the titles, temperature, degrees Fahrenheit, line graph. That's on the left side. On the right side, you're going to now do, instead of 3s, numerals of 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to, I think, 28 or 29. Okay, on your bar graph. Okay. And then title that precipitation in inches, and that's going to be for your bar graphs. That's going to be for your bar graphs, right? So it's pretty much, and again, all our graphs are going to look different because we're going to choose different letters. If you don't put the letter at the top, I don't know which it is, so you're going to get points off for it. So make sure you get the letter at the top. Make sure you get the labels. Again, if you don't set it up right, you'll lose points. So make sure you set it up the way I directed you to set it up. It's going to look something like this a little bit, right? You're going to have a line graph that goes above a bar graph. It's going to look like that once you've plotted your numbers out. Okay, so let's go back. Almost done, guys. I'll be done here in a little bit. As you can see here, so all the numbers that are in the top row are going to be my line graph numbers. Again, are you going to do all these? No, only going to do one. Only going to pick one of these letters. Only one. Okay. So I'm going to use the temperature side of my graph, okay, to map these numbers for each month. So I go up and make a dot for January at 39 temperature, right, for degrees Fahrenheit. I go up and make a dot for 39.6. I go up and make a dot for 42.3, 47.3, right? So that's going to be that setup, what it looks like. And then you connect all those dots together and it makes your line graph. It's going to make your line graph. See this here? Again, it's going to make, so I go down, so what, like I said before, I'm going to go down. Okay, this is the temperature side. I go to January and it said 39. I go up to where it says 39. I stop right around there, I think. Make a dot. Go to February, go back to my number. Maybe it was 40 something, I'm not sure. Go up and make a dot. You make a bunch of dots with the top row. Again, this is only for the top row numbers. Okay, you make a bunch of dots, connect them as a line using this side, the temperature side. Then let's go back. I'm done with my top row. So I've done all my top row numbers, made a line out of it. Now I use my bottom row numbers, and that's to make my little bar graphs. So top row is the line graph, bottom row is the bar graph. Again, guys, it goes all the way. It goes all the way to December. So you got to zoom in to December and see all the other numbers too. Okay. So I go here maybe, and it says 1.9, right? So then I go to the right side, the other side again. Do not use, right? Do not use the other side for temperature. Use the rainfall side, the precipitation side. And then I go to January. Okay, I take it up, but I go all the way to it says 1.9. So I go to 1.9 right here, go all the way to January, and then make a little bar graph. Okay. So make sure these are accurate with your numbers because I've got an answer key for each of the letters. Okay. Once you've made your line graph from the top row and you've made your bar graph from the bottom row, again, the line graph numbers are on the temperature side. The bar graph numbers go with the precipitation side. Once you've done that, what you're going to do, guys, oh, one second. What we're going to do is, let's go back one second. You're going to have to, on the back of this, once you've made your bar and your line graph, on the back of this, again, it's going to look something like this, right? It should look something like that, right? Like this, right? Again, that's kind of how it is. So line graph is one side with the dots, bar graph is the other side with the bars. All right, okay? So you're going to have to answer these 7 questions. Answer these 7 questions. What are the factors that determine climate? I'm going to give it to you now. Temperature and precipitation. We know that. 2, describe the climatogram in your own words. Is there a lot of rainfall? Is there not? Is the temperature, does it fluctuate a lot? Does it stay the same? 3, would you want to live there? Why or why not? Just a fun opinion question. No reason to get anything wrong on that. Oh, my bad. 3, do you think your location is near a mountain range or large body of water? If the bar graphs are high, you're probably near water. If they're relatively high, if the bar graphs are really low, you're probably not. You're probably near a mountain. Okay. How does your assigned locations compare with Tampa, Florida? What is similar? What is different? So maybe look up Tampa, Florida climate graph and compare it to that on Google Images. Do you think your location is near the equator? It's only going to be near the equator if these numbers, the line graph is high year round. So this one, I would say it's not near the equator because the line graph only goes up in the middle and it stays kind of low on the sides. You know what I'm saying? And are you hearing everything, Angel? You're all good? Okay. And then lastly, what location do you think you were assigned and why? Do your best to take a guess. Look at climate graphs for one of these locations. Is it Tokyo? Is it Sydney, Rome? And take a guess as to which it is. If you're close, I'll still give you full credit. Okay. So again, just as a reminder, look at the documents. Okay, pick a letter, make a line graph from the top row, bar graph from the bottom row. Okay. Should look something like this, right? A line graph, then a bar graph, make sure it's set up right. I'm going to post a picture I'm going to post this after school today for you guys to start. It's not due till I think next Friday. So you got a lot of 2 weeks to work on it. No stress. And once you got your line and your bar graph from the letter you chose, on the back side, you answer those 7 questions. Okay. Let me go take quick attendance, and then I'll be here to answer further questions. Give me 1 second.